What's up, you guys? Nick here, and in today's video I want to discuss some exclusive news I have received thanks to a subscriber. This news is currently coming out of the ChargePoint Switchback camp concerning their merger date. I'm going to be talking about why this was pushed back and sentiments coming out of the Switchback management. There are many rumors floating around the internet that the eventual merger was unfortunately destined to dissolve, and ChargePoint would thus be left without a shell company's backing. This never sat well for me, as filings with the SEC have a ton of bureaucratic obstacles to jump over and red tape. ChargePoint itself is a growing company and rapidly expanding. These are not signs of a falling out deal. As many of you know, ChargePoint is up over 250% since its IPO and may be emerging out of a significant pullback. In this video, I want to discuss why I think a doubling of the stock within a quarter or two is by no means out of the question. I have exclusive information from their senior vice president that I want to share with you all. And lastly, I want to talk about whether or not you should currently sell, hold, or buy, as we are seeing bullish signals, or should you wait for another pullback? We have a lot to get into. But first, Weebull has increased their promo. They are now offering 4 free stocks worth up to $3,700. When you 1. Sign up, 2. Open an account, and 3. Deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. They are a 0% trading platform with some of the best analytics in the game. I use this app every single day, guys. It's really awesome. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I do a ton of videos like this covering EV, tech, IPOs, and focus my investment strategy on innovative disruption. I will be following up with this merger on a continual basis, so make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss those updates. Decimate the like button while you're at it. I would really appreciate it. All right, let's get right into it. So Switchback Energy and ChargePoint. As many of you know, ChargePoint is the largest provider of electric vehicle charging stations in North America and Europe, and at that, by a substantial margin. They are continually increasing the number of charging stations they have and have declared that they believe they will be able to hold a 55% CAGR, or compounded annual growth rate, for the next 6 years. This would drastically increase the quantity of charging stations they have and vastly pad out their bottom line. Switchback Energy is a SPAC, or Special Purpose Acquisition Company, essentially just a cash-backed shell company that has chosen and intends on bringing ChargePoint public. This facilitates the entire process and enables companies to avoid the regular red tape of an IPO. SPACs have been the buzz topic this year with broad markets, and especially centered within the electric vehicle industry. SPACs are choosing EV-based companies for a number of obvious reasons, as there is hype like no one has ever seen before in the EV industry. The industry at large is expected to continue to dominate in the coming years, and shares of any company even remotely connected to EVs are flying off the shelves. SPACs are harnessing this sentiment. Will this bullishness continue throughout the next few years? Well, it remains unclear for the time being. However, in my own personal investment strategy, I know at least I will be continuing to invest in these companies for years down the line. The EV industry is currently exploding, bursting at the seams, and gearing up for really a takeover. They are like an assembling army, just gearing up and ready to take on Mordor and the battle for Middle-earth. Let's put this into some perspective. Just 10 years ago, there were only around 17,000 EVs on the road. Very niche, very fringe. Last year, 2019, there were an estimated 7.2 million. This is exponential growth, like exponential growth is going out of style. And I do not see this slowing down anytime soon. Analysts and economists are predicting that it is much more likely this growth rate continues to accelerate for at least the next 5 years. As more countries offer subsidy programs, write legislation on reducing carbon footprints, battery costs come down, and battery NEDC mileage increases. All of this will only promote the sale of EVs for the future. It's important to remember, all these vehicles need one thing, and that's charging. Whether that be through home ports, residential, government, or public, ChargePoint is there to answer the call. They are planning on increasing their margins in the coming quarters and expanding at a rapid pace away from competitors, carving out a share of the market to then hold. This is exactly why Switchback has chosen ChargePoint, and it is bringing this company public. The initial merger completion date was initially slated and rumored for December 15th. Now, on this date, the ticker symbol would have changed and Switchback and ChargePoint would have been officially merged. However, this did not occur, and the merger was pushed back. So why did this happen? Should we as investors be concerned? Should we purchase before this pushed back date or hold off for the time being? Well, a huge shout out to Mr. Slicks, a subscriber of mine, who sent me some recent information coming from Switchback's management. You are the man, Mr. Slicks. Also, unreal name, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but so sick. I think you should potentially be a private investigator because this was some great, devoted work. So what he did is he first contacted their senior director, Daryl Harrison, by the phone. He was then rerouted to Daniel Oppenheimer through email. Mr. Oppenheimer is the senior vice president positioned in financial profiles for the company. Now, the context of this email is inquiry into their merger and why it has been postponed. Daniel reads that, quote, "There was another S4 filing by Switchback this week, Tuesday afternoon, and the two companies, Switchback and ChargePoint, are working through the process with the SEC. There is not an ability to state a specific date until the documents are finalized with the SEC." Okay, so I'll stop there for a second just to state that although speculative dates are floating all over YouTube and the internet, their senior vice president is stating that this cannot be possible. The SEC typically takes its time with these reverse mergers, and penciling in a date would just be speculation at this point. Okay, so Daniel goes on to state, "At the point a final proxy statement can be filed with the scheduling of a shareholder vote with closing and CHPT trading, all then following right after the vote, all is progressing." So basically, there is still quite a bit of red tape in the way for a merger completion. And for ChargePoint, I'm now assuming they are going to be trading under prospective ticker symbol CHPT. This is all very promising news. There were many concerns floating around that the merger was falling through and that ChargePoint was then again going to be left to fend for itself. This is not the sentiment I am getting with this. I will be updating you on the situation on an ongoing basis and following the merger process, so make sure you subscribe. So should you purchase shares before the pushed back merger completion, whenever this may be? Well, what actually happens during a SPAC merging? Well, investors would then be able to exercise their warrants or simply cash out. In the case of Switchback and ChargePoint, there is an estimated business combination between the two companies valued at $2.4 billion enterprise value. Approximately $492 million in net proceeds will advance to ChargePoint for its commercial, fleet, and residential businesses. Now, this is their bread and butter. It is really where their margins are the highest and where they are dominating the market. ChargePoint's management won't change and will continue to be led by Pascal Romano at the helm as CEO and the same management team. Upon completion, ChargePoint will have around $683 million in cash and cash equivalents, resulting in a total pro forma equity value of around $3 billion. These proceeds will be then used to increase the ratio by mitigating liabilities, paying off debt. They will fund operations, continue to support growth for general corporate purposes, or basically day-to-day costs. These proceeds are funded through Switchback's approximate $317 million in cash trust and $225 million PIPE of common stock valued at $10 per share. Scott McNeil, their CEO, CFO, and director, states that the EV charging industry is accelerating and it is expected that charging infrastructure investment will be $190 billion by 2030. This is an incredibly huge market, and ChargePoint really is one of the early leaders in this space. ChargePoint has now more than 4,000 customers based in organizations and businesses, with more than 130,000 public and private current stations and an additional 133,000 public spaces to charge through network roaming integrations throughout North America and Europe. They have currently completed more than 82 million charging sessions, and this is only increasing. They are here for the future. So we typically do see a falling share price a few weeks after the merger completion date, as the hype around the merger slowly fades, and this does offer an enticing buying window in my point of view. However, with the increasing investor interest around SPACs and the growing interest in the EV market as a whole, I would not be so sure of this falling share price. ChargePoint is extremely well positioned for the coming landscape, and although they will lose the SBE ticker, I think the days of ChargePoint domination are only beginning. I have been continually purchasing shares for long-term holds on dip days in this company, and if I do see substantial dips after the merger, I will be purchasing a bulk quantity of shares to hold. This company will dominate the future, and I think it's important for us as long-term investors, what up long-term gang, to zoom out and minimize this day-to-day and week-to-week noise. Let's think 5, 10, 20 years down the line, this company could be a powerhouse. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate the continued support. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. Do not forget about the Weebull promo. 4 free stocks worth up to $3,700. This is a no-brainer. All you have to do is 1, sign up, 2, open an account, and 3, deposit in at least $100 using the link in my description. This is a complete no-brainer. The promo ends soon. Do not sleep on this one, guys. Anyways, everyone, thank you again for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Happy trading. Let's get that bread. Take care and cheers.